What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Coast to Coast Sports. As always, I am your host, Harrison Van Tilburg, and to the left of me, as always, is my good friend, Jonathan Witt, and behind the scenes, looking snack chef forever in his Hickory Hills windbreaker that I'm so very jealous of, Ryan Smith. No guest this week. You're just stuck with these plain faces that you love so very much.
Of course.
John, you got anything to say to people before we get started?
I would like to get ahead of this.
Yes.
I would like to be the first to wish a happy retirement to my man, Blake Godels. Blake Godels.
Say his real name in case people don't know who Blake Godels is.
Blake Bortles, truly is the king of the AFC South. I think if you
get an argument from me.
I mean, it ain't Andrew Luck.
It ain't. He's retired.
He retired before.
Yeah, Blake Godels.
And he lasted longer. Made an AFC Championship game. People forget.
Mm-hmm. Andrew Luck made one of those. Let's not get too crazy. But
I forgot about that.
He did.
Crazy
comeback against the Chiefs.
People forget.
The real question is, what would Blake Bortles be doing if he wasn't playing football?
He would be a construction worker. What was it?
Construction worker, Rick and Sigs. That's how I said.
That's what
he said. What would you do if you weren't playing football? Probably a construction worker just ripping Sigs. And the girl's like, what?
Half the people listening aren't going to know what we're talking
about. No, that doesn't have to. But the people that do know.
If you know.
Those are the ones that know.
If you know, you know.
But happy retirement to our good friend Blake Bortles, a.k.a. Blake Godels, a.k.a. This Boat Rocks, a.k.a. AFC Championship between Blake, the Boat, Goat, and Bortles versus Tom Brady. Tom Brady, that's it. But he did lose the game.
He did.
But he made it.
But he beat the Steelers, and that's what I care.
And that's always a win for us, right?
Oh,
that's fair enough. Ryan, you got anything to say to people before we get started?
It's getting nipply out.
It is getting nipply out. You know what, Ryan? That's a good thought. And I appreciate
an astute observation.
And the only thing I gotta say is I'll just do the quote for the week.
Go right ahead.
The quote is, "Some may say this is the best time of the year for sports and all things encompassing sports." John Wood.
Ooh. It's October, you're right.
It is October.
You're right.
John Wood, I believe, said, what was it, a couple months ago? Like 4 or 5 months ago when we had a debate about what was the best sports month. Yes. I believe you said October was your number one.
I did.
And Ryan, I think you said yours was like...
It was like March or June, something like that. I think it was March because... it was April. April because you have the very end of March Madness National Championship and the Masters.
Yeah.
And some other shit in there.
See, I also said April because I said you have end of March Madness, NBA season's winding down, you're getting to the playoffs, playoff hockey, you're getting baseball season to start back up, you're getting NFL seasons like within sight. You know what I mean? Like it's getting there. It's obviously just like it only ended like a few months ago, but like it's definitely there. And then college football's like lingering, starts happening. Mm-hmm. It's the best month. So John, this is your month.
Look, it's happening. Can I have the floor?
You can have the floor.
Look, I mean, you have MLB postseason. It's about to start. You have college football. You have NFL football.
You have NFL football.
You have NBA and NHL coming back.
Mm-hmm. Preseason going on right now.
Preseason for both. And then I believe college basketball starts in October too. So literally all the sports play in October. Also, everyone knows the best part of March Madness is the first weekend anyways. Let's be honest.
It is true. I don't disagree. But if your team's making it that far...
Oh, yeah. Final Four is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm tuning into the Final Four. And April's a good month.
See, I'm not tuning in unless one of my teams that my friends or I root for.
Yeah, but also watch the Masters.
Also, half the time, opening day is in March anyways.
Opening day is also...
It flips. It could be either one.
It can flip.
It's not consistent.
John, do you watch the Masters?
No, but I want to. I want to start watching golf.
Golf's fun. I wish they would do more team tournaments. Because I enjoy much more rooting for a team than an individual player.
I'm that way as well.
Because, like, I think it's cool to be like, oh my God, Jordan Spieth, this guy fucks. Like, he's awesome. But, like, also, Tiger Woods won. Like, I wouldn't be upset. And then you're like, well, I mean, Kevin Kisner, he's a good guy. I like him. He'd be a good player. He's never ruffled my feathers. Like, I hate doing that. I'd be like, I'm all in. And obviously, no golfer wins enough consistently, like, number one, unless you're Tiger early 2000s.
Yeah.
To where you're like, I'm riding this bandwagon. But when they play like Team USA versus the Internationals or When they do the Ryder Cup, is it Team International, Team World?
Ryder Cup is EU versus
USA.
The President's Cup is everyone else international except for EU versus USA.
See, I like both of those because it's fun. Crowd gets a little rowdy. Everybody's a little more, I feel like, passionate, and everybody likes playing with each other. It's just
they
more
need
fun.
to change something, but the President's Cup might have been a little bit better this year if there weren't so many players that were out because they didn't play in it because of the LIV shit. Like Cam Smith didn't play in it. Which
he would have been international. Well, no, he's EU.
Aussie.
Isn't that EU? Ernie Els was the coach of the EU team. Isn't he Aussie?
He's not the coach of the EU team.
He was. This past Ryder Cup, throw 100 G's on it.
Ernie Els is South African. So
he's not Aussie. So I guess it doesn't matter even if even if he was, which I'm pretty sure he was the coach, the last Ryder Cup, when they played in Australia. Or maybe they played in Australia, and that's what it was. I'm still 95% sure. Either way, Cam Smith.
He was the coach of the President's Cup team, not the Ryder Cup.
I was close. I had a 50-50 shot.
Very different.
I had a 50-50 shot. I missed. You know what I'm saying? I was close.
You missed 50% of the shots.
Thank you.
You don't take.
Thank you, John.
Vote John what?
Who's the coach for the EU team?
I'm checking it right now.
Okay.
Was Coach K, was it?
It's another.
Patrick Harrington.
Who?
Patrick Harrington.
Nope, wouldn't have said that. Yeah, so pretty much all I'm saying is, Cam Smith, he would have definitely been a benefactor and would have been a hell of a lot of fun to watch. But
Ryder Cup is the most fun golf to watch besides maybe the Masters.
That's what I hear. I heard the Ryder Cup's awesome.
It's rowdy. Awesome. I love it. That's why I like it.
Is that the one with...
Last year wasn't. Last year was in EU. This year...
The Ryder Cup?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't in EU. It was in Wisconsin.
Is the Ryder Cup the one where 40,000 people are at hole 18 or whatever?
No. That's
Waste management.
Yeah, waste management. 16th hole.
EU was at Wisconsin. The Ryder Cup was in Wisconsin this past year. Because next year it's in Europe, but I can't remember where. Because I think the year after that it's in Minnesota, or the 2 years, because they're 2-year cycles, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
so.
Next,
Whistling Straits. I just thought it was EU.
That's Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Whistling Straits just looks.
Yeah, it looks incredibly European because it's on fucking waterfront. I feel like all golf courses in Europe are on waterfront. But I think the next after it comes back to the United States, I think it's somewhere like Minnesota or some shit.
Ryder Cup for 2023 is.
It's in Europe.
Yes.
I'm looking for. It'd be 2025 is what I'm looking for.
Yeah. 2025. Bethpage Black. Oh, what a course.
What a course.
Huh?
Where's it at?
New York.
Fuck, I thought it was Minnesota.
The longest course in...
I don't
think the world...
I didn't think New York had enough green for a golf course. Jesus.
It's
New York State?
Of course.
Is it New York State or New York City?
It's just outside of New York City.
Okay.
And it's a public course. If you want to play there, you have to, sign a waiver if you want to play from the tees.
Tips.
Like the tips. Or just the course itself, from the tips, like where the pros play, is like 7,800 yards. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's the longest course on the tour that they play. And you can play there. It's a public course, but you have to reserve a spot like 2 years in advance. And it's like, I think, $800 a person for 18 holes. Yeah, that'll be fun.
It actually will be pretty fun. I'd like to see a low-scoring affair. Well, I guess they don't. Yeah, I think
farming down New York.
Yeah, hopefully the defense steps up there.
Comes out on top.
But no, the Ryder Cup is, from what you might have seen, is like where people do a lot of chants like during that as well.
Okay.
They heckle and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like after the putt is sank, everybody goes crazy and does like USA chants and stuff, or like EU people. Like when it's in Europe, it's I don't know what you do, like an EU chant, but they chant and stuff. It's rowdy. That's all I'm saying. That's what I like about it.
Oh no, it's actually in New York City. It's in Long Island. So
that blows me away. Can't believe there's nothing.
No, there's some nice areas in Long Island. I think.
I'm just saying, blows me away. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Consider you blown away.
I'm blown. Hey yo. All right, so let's get into it. So the outline of the show, what we're gonna be doing today is obviously we're gonna talk about some college football. we're going to do our poll. Fantasy team updates will be next with the NFL review intertwined with that. Baseball playoffs bracket is officially set, so that's going to be underway, and we'll be talking about it. I'm telling what we like, what we don't like. We got the pick'ems, as always, with a new update, and 2-minute drill to wrap us up. John, are you ready to rock and roll, bub?
I'm all ready.
Are you ready to rock with finger pistols?
Yeah, Hey,
Hey,
it's Red River Shootout weekend. Pew pew.
we're ready to rock.
We rock. It's the shootout. It's not a rivalry.
Red
River Shootouts.
I know, but I like Red River Rivalry. That's a fucking tongue twister right there.
Yeah, but
I prefer the shootout. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah,
It's just
I
fun
mean-
to say Red River Rivalry.
those older than 6 years old call it the shootout.
Call it the shootout. Ryan, would you be so kind to get our college football poll up and ready for you? I'll snap. Don't worry. Because John, what are you looking for? The AC remote? Right, cold bub?
Fuck, crazy.
Ryan's a little chill.
What did I say to start the podcast?
Hey, it's cold out. I don't know what you say.
Slow nipping.
It's a little nipply.
cold outside.
It's not time for Christmas music. Fucking relax
shut
on
the
that,
fuck
bub.
Every time it's time.
Relax on that, bub. Ryan, whenever you're ready.
All right, ready?
3.
2, 1.
See, I did it with my left hand to make you feel better. This one's definitely my mark. Or I could do that too.
That's your creep.
Yeah, but I still love it. Here's our poll. So our poll this week, not a whole lot of changing in the top 4. I believe the top 4 is still the same 4 teams as last week's.
Much different order, though.
But the order has indeed changed. Alabama goes to number 1 with their blowout win against Arkansas. I believe at Arkansas, correct?
Yes. Yeah, it was at Arkansas.
Top 20. Top 20.
I would hold the brakes on.
Wasn't it like a 2-score game?
I mean, it got there. It was like a one.
Well, it ended up being a blowout.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll go.
Kind of like the Maryland-Michigan game. See, I knew you were going to get that back. It was a close game, but the score ended up just dictating
It was a 7-point game at the end.
It wasn't that close, though. When Michigan took a 2-score lead, we will agree to disagree on this still. When Michigan took a 2-score lead, they had a 2-score lead until 2 minutes left in the game. That's all I'm saying.
They both scored late touchdowns. It was a one-possession game.
It was not.
It was one. It was a one-possession game for
Still.
most of the game.
For the people that are... Oh, fuck. I forgot to say.
Okay.
YouTube, if you're listening, check us out on Spotify. Spotify, if you're listening, check us out on YouTube. And vice versa, check us out on Twitter. Forgot to mention that. But for our Spotify users, Alabama is crowned as our new number 1 of the Coast to Coast.
Close,
podcast.
though. It's really close between
Ohio State.
It's like one or two. Like if 1 or 2 people switched, it would be Ohio State 1, Alabama 2. So it's really.
I think Ohio State would definitely. I think Ohio State would be number 1 if Notre Dame was still in the top 25.
Vegas actually has Ohio State neutral site right now. Even before the Bryce Young injury, right now Ohio State would actually be favored over Alabama.
Oh, really? That's wild.
And,
but I think Ohio State's looked more consistent than Alabama has. Alabama's had really good weeks, but also Alabama's had like, what the fuck are we doing here? You know, so I think it's close. I think you could really honestly do a coin flip between the two. I truly do believe if Ohio State and Alabama played Saturday, I think Ohio State would edge them out. But regardless, Alabama's number 1, 2 Ohio State. Georgia was the top dog, pun in fact intended.
Go Dogs.
Thank you. Oh, you just said go Dogs. They said good job.
Good job.
No, fuck you, John. Drops to number 3 for us. 4 USC stays the same. 5 Michigan stays the same for us. So that's what the top 5 looks at. No new teams, a little bit of reordering. 6 through 10, looking a little bit like Clemson Tigers. 7 being the Oklahoma State Cowboys. 8 being Tennessee Volunteers. 9 Penn State Nittany Lions. And then 10 Ole Miss Rebels. 11 is the Utah Utes. 12 is Oregon Ducks. 13 is the BY Cougars. 14 is NC State. And then 15 is the Kentucky Wildcats. And then 16 through 20, looking a little bit like the UCLA Bruins. New to the poll. Nobody else so far is new to the poll. We've had some movement, and we'll get to that a little bit. 17 is the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. 18 is the Kansas Jayhawks. Top it up. Kansas, new to the poll.
New to the poll.
Big new to the poll. 19, Kansas State Wildcats. Same state, different school. 20, TCU Horned Frogs. Also new to the poll. And then 21 to 25, rounding it out, is the Washington Huskies. Syracuse Orange, new to the poll at 22. 23, the Mississippi State Bulldogs, also new to the poll.
And
And then 24, Cincinnati Bearcats, Also new to the poll. Adjacent. They're new from last week.
They're coming back in, but they
made week 1. I believe they made week 1.
They were in week 1, yeah, because they lost Arkansas week 1.
And then the same thing like Minnesota. Minnesota made our week 1, but they haven't made it since. So they're new to the poll this week. And then Minnesota, speaking of them, rounds out our top 25 and bringing them down. Outside of the people that we named are new to the poll, some of the biggest changes we got Georgia goes from 1 to 3, as mentioned. Mississippi goes from Ole Miss goes from 17 to 10. I know you're not big on them.
No.
And I know you weren't big on Kentucky anyway.
No.
So them really losing and just one winning to each other doesn't shake up really anything to you.
In my eye, I still had them 12, so I guess they're in the range. But like, I would put some other teams before them. This was a matchup between 2 fraud teams, and I knew this was going to happen, but we're going to project the winner of this, even though the game was ugly.
Yes. And then Kentucky, since they lost Ole Miss, drops from 7 to 15, so 8 spots there.
Yep.
Minnesota falls 10 spots, 15 to 25 for us because they lost to Purdue. And not a great game. I believe that score was like 20 to 10.
Yeah, they lost by 10. No, they lost by 10.
Wasn't it like 20 to 10?
I thought it was like 31-21.
That's better. That's better if it is the case, but still not great for Minnesota. Not a good look for them.
Ibrahim was out. I will say that.
Yeah. Is he like done?
He was out for that game.
Okay.
I don't know if he'll be back next week.
Washington falls from 14 to 21, 7 spots there with their loss to, not even a loss. They got obliterated basically by UCLA.
Yeah.
And that's why UCLA cracked our top 25 there. And then dropping out is probably one of the more surprising, I'm going to say two of the more surprising things I did not see coming as our week 6 poll here is Texas A&M and Oklahoma. Both dropping out of the top 25. That kind of surprised me big time.
They've earned it, though. They both look terrible.
They have 1,000% earned it. Baylor also dropping out. Florida State dropping out. Arkansas and Pitt dropping out. I'm kind of sad that Pitt's dropping out. I didn't have them in my top 25. I want to make that very clear. I just was decently high on them. I said they could give Clemson a run for their money in the ACC this year. That is not looking the case.
You can't lose to Georgia Tech.
You just can't.
That's an
and not lose the way that they did too. Ugly.
Yeah, I mean this is their second loss, and losing to Georgia Tech, ugly sin. Ugly sin. It's
then,
hard to come back from that.
And then, as we mentioned before, UCLA, TCU, Syracuse, Mississippi State, and Cincinnati, and hold the applause.
Hold the applause.
But the Kansas Jayhawks making the top 25. Those are all the new teams. And as we've said before, John, I know you've said it. I've said it. Ryan said it. We are a pro Rock Chalk Jayhawk podcast.
Look, I've won 2 March Madness groups in my life. Both times
Kansas was it.
Kansas is it. Look, Kansas Jayhawks are just my team. I ride with them. Mm-hmm. We got a big game this week against not my Horned Frogs, but the Horned Frogs.
But the Horned Frogs.
A likable team. So we'll see how
I'm
that
also a
plays out.
big Kansas fan. I'm a big Miami Heat fan for those that don't know.
Oh, yeah, Mario Chalmers?
Mario Chalmers. Yeah. Heat legend. 2
Heat legend.
NBA championships. Kansas legend. Hit a game winner. I believe won the national championship for Kansas. Or like sent them to the national championship. One of the two. So trust me, I'm huge on Kansas here.
Big Kansas guy.
I'm pulling for Kansas. I'm hoping they do well. They've got a gauntlet of like the next 6 games coming up. Yes. It'll be really interesting to see how well they favor. Being 5-0 is dope, but I'd like to see them 11-1.
Well, do you know the last time they went 5-0, they actually beat Iowa State back in 2009 to go 5-0, ended up losing out, going 5-7.
5-7. Oh, jeez. Well, they just beat Iowa State too, so it could happen.
It could happen. That's what I'm saying.
I'm hoping. I'm rooting for Kansas.
No, this is a much better team than that 2009 team. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the country statistically. Mm-hmm. Just tough schedule to get up, but I think they'll at least win one to get to a bowl game.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, the thing I was a little surprised was TCU kind of cracking our top 25. I believe I was going to toss up between them and Maryland. Maryland, to me, has looked really good this year. I think TCU and Maryland both are 4-1.
No, TCU's undefeated.
TCU's undefeated?
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't TCU that I was flipping between. Maybe it was Washington and dropping them out. But regardless, though, I had Maryland in it. They've got a top 3 offense in the Big Ten. And the only 2 teams that they're behind are Michigan and Ohio State. And I would say those are pretty 2 solid teams to be out behind. And I think Maryland's looking pretty good. But I had them in mind. And I don't think I had Cincinnati in mind, if I'm correct. I pulled mine up, though.
I don't think you did. Here, I can go to the Google Sheets and look at everybody's.
Oh, that's so cute. Look at you go, John. No, I had Washington still in it. I had was Syracuse, Maryland, and I had Mississippi State.
Mhm.
I put Wake Forest back in mine. I had them out after they lost last week.
I mean, they're a good team.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm about to talk about another team here in a second, but Wake Forest is not a bad team.
Yes. So we'll see. We'll see if Maryland keeps continuing on that trend because unfortunately I don't see them winning the East just because obviously the East is light years. Light years better than the West. But I believe if Maryland was truly in the West, I think Maryland could win the West side easily.
You know what's crazy to me?
We'll see.
Big Ten has out of all the Power 5 conferences has the least amount of teams in the AP poll. 3.
Why is that crazy?
Just think it's crazy.
No, I don't think it's that crazy.
Man, Big Ten sucks.
Outside of the top,
outside
of Michigan, Ohio State, the Big Ten is kind of shoddy this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I
that's
figured
the crazy thing to me. Like
you figured. You're not surprised. I thought you were saying like, oh, it's bullshit. We should have
like
two more teams
preseason wise, like you always think, oh, okay, like
Wisconsin,
Iowa, like one of them two teams, or probably both would be ranked. We thought we had high hopes for Nebraska this year. Didn't work out. Michigan State, they were looking good. Now they suck.
Mm-hmm.
Maryland, I think they should be ranked, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a few teams.
I think personally, look, we got a few good matchups here, coming this week, and I think that truly that some more shakeups could happen. If I'm correct, I believe we've got a few top 25 teams. Hold, please.
Yeah, if you go,
John, entertain the team while I.
Also, shout out Wisconsin firing Paul Chris.
Yeah, they did.
Shout them out.
No,
I don't know if it's a good move, but we'll see.
It's a good move. TCU Kansas is a ranked game. Tennessee LSU, Utah UCLA. I think those are the only 3.
Mm-hmm.
There might be one more. I might have. So those are the 3 that are at least on the pick'ems, and I believe those were the only 3 ranked matchups.
Yeah, I mean Tennessee LSU. You mentioned that. Kansas TCU mentioned
and
that.
Then Utah UCLA.
Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, that could be a loss. Oklahoma State wouldn't fall out of our top 25, though. At least I wouldn't have them.
They wouldn't fall out, but they would fall.
They would fall for sure. But I'm saying more or less of if Maryland wins this week, who does Maryland even play?
They play Purdue.
Okay, so if Maryland plays Purdue and beats Purdue, I was saying that if we had enough teams like this past week, we had a lot of teams playing each other. Arkansas, Alabama. I mean, all the teams that were I think on the bottom of our poll lost. So that's why I think we have 6 new teams this week or something crazy like that.
I mean, 10 from the AP poll, 10 teams lost. So.
Right. So my point in that is that this week we don't have that case so much. So maybe even if Maryland does beat Purdue, and if Cincinnati loses, I mean Cincinnati could lose. Any of these guys could lose at the bottom half. Maybe we'll see a Maryland appearance, but.
I think
outside of them, I don't know really who else might be my fringe. I have the other fringe team I think I would have be potential putting back in would be Florida State. They lost this past week, so that's why I had them out of my poll. But outside of them, I feel like it's kind of a toss up from like 26 to like 28 on my list, or 29 is kind of a dumpster fire. If Miami keeps winning, maybe they may crack it back up, or We'll see, and we'll obviously be tapped into it, but I think that right now this is a pretty solid list. I feel like we've got the 2 newcomers that I'm really excited about are Syracuse and UCLA. I'm happy for both of them, both undefeated in their respective conferences, and I think UCLA has a potential to make a statement game here coming up here soon, especially when you're playing against USC eventually. Are they playing this week?
No,
they're not.
It's Utah, UCLA, and then
they'll play USC eventually, correct?
Yeah, they're in the same division.
Okay,
they're rivals. They'll play.
I didn't know if they were on the same.
Do
they have conference? Do they have divisions
for this year? I think next year.
Sure, they're going divisionless.
Yeah, I think they play. I think USC because USC switches between who they play the last week of the season between Notre Dame and UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's Notre Dame this year, and I think they play UCLA the week before.
So yeah, I'm big on UCLA. I'm hoping they're good. I have a friend that plays basketball there for the women's team. So shout out Gina Conti. Transfer from Wake Forest to UCLA 2 years ago. So
there you go.
Yeah, big on UCLA. Hoping that they're pretty good. But I feel like we got a pretty good poll this week.
Yeah.
Any big surprise from you?
No big surprises. I was a little surprised Minnesota stayed in. I thought UCLA, I had it in my poll, but LSU was really close. I think they're only 1 point or 2 points behind Minnesota. Ole Miss,
They're in my 26 to 28 range.
Yeah, Ole Miss overrated. Sure, I'll give them top 10 for.
They're undefeated, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you don't think they're a top 5 team, top 10 team, but they have no other reason to not be there. Same thing with Penn State. I don't think Penn State's a top 10 team, but I think if Penn State, I mean, who knows? Penn State plays Michigan, they beat Michigan. Penn State plays Ohio State, they play Ohio State close and even lose, or to Michigan either way. Maybe I'm like, okay, maybe Penn State is a little bit better than what I was giving credit for, but I don't think Penn State's very good. My brother and I were very big on Michigan State now, or being very overrated, and that obviously paid out pretty well as well as it has so far. But I kept the Golden Gophers in there. I feel like they're a better team than what they played last week. So it was a coin flip between me
their best
and
player.
Yeah,
I gave them the benefit. I gave them the benefit of the doubt, keeping them in the poll. Also, I think Clemson's a little underrated at 6. I think as of right now, as today's October 5th, it's 10:04 p.m. The Clemson Tigers are the closest team to the playoffs right now. They got their biggest games past them. They passed all their tests. They have 2 of the best They probably have the best resume out of anybody in the top 6 right now. And their only real game where they can slip up is Florida State. In a couple weeks, it's either next week or the week after they play Florida State, and then the ACC championship game. As of right, and they
could play Notre Dame in that.
Notre Dame's not in the ACC, but they do play.
They were only there for like 2 years.
That was only for the COVID year, but they do play Notre Dame this year. But as of right now, I think they are the closest. Now, obviously, they can trip up, but they are the closest team as of right now to the college football playoff.
I'm hoping Syracuse is an upset for them. I think they should have lost to Wake Forest, but
I mean, Wake Forest is a good team. We're underrating Wake Forest, in my opinion.
Oh, I'm not underrating them. I'm saying I think Wake Forest should have beat Clemson.
I'm not saying you personally. I'm just saying, like, as a country, as like a national narrative, we are underrating. I mean, 21 is low for them. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
But they're 2. They have 2 losses.
No, it's only that one loss in overtime. Wake Forest is not a. I mean, they destroyed your Vandy guys when.
Dude, I was big on Vandy. Vandy is looking not it, Chief.
Vandy boys.
Goddamn, losing to the Elon Musks.
Yeah, honestly, I
didn't lose almost, but it was a close game.
I would put Clemson at either 3 or 4 right now, in my opinion.
Because they've proven themselves more just with the Wake Forest NC State.
They just have. I mean, you look at everybody else. Alabama, at least on our top 25, Alabama doesn't have anybody. Ohio State doesn't have anybody. Georgia does have Oregon, but they also have looked terrible.
Yeah, the past 2 weeks.
I don't think USC has anybody. Michigan definitely doesn't have anybody.
USC definitely doesn't have anybody.
Who did they beat?
They have beat nobody. They have played nobody. I got you. I'm closer to it than you are. Or you just fucked me raw. I guess you got it.
USC.
Go ahead, bud.
Okay. So they haven't played anybody.
Yeah, they haven't played anybody. I guess Stanford. I think that's a rival, right?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, Stanford would be the.
I'd say it's like Ohio State Penn State game where it's like kind of a rival, but like not really. Like one team I think views it as a rival, and the other team does not.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, I would put Clemson at either 3 or 4, and then have Michigan and USC be 5 or 6 in whatever order. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I just the reason I don't have Clemson that high is Clemson hasn't looked particularly all that well in a couple of those games, especially the ones where I don't think should have been tested or I guess quote unquote tested. I mean, they beat Georgia Tech 41-10, but Georgia Tech's bad. We know that.
That game was also closer than the score indicates.
Right. Furman 35-12.
Yeah.
Didn't look great either there. I believe that was like a 1-score game through.
I don't think it was 1 score. It was just like Clemson never really
put it together.
Yeah, because they were up.
So 14.
Yeah, so
they were up. Yeah. They were up big. Maybe I have that confused with another game.
You might be thinking Georgia. You might be thinking Georgia Tech.
And a 30-20 win against NC State, I feel like was a pretty good. And the Wake Forest one. Those are 2 more of their quality. That has to be their only quality wins. And I think that was definitely a little bit of a help cake. But that's why I had them drop those passes. I just feel like they didn't look like they were putting a complete game together. As well as, I mean, USC beating, USC, Michigan, and Georgia beating Samford or whoever by 30-plus points in a shutout or 70 points in a 70-14 win. Doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot either, but I feel like they're playing a more complete game. But that's kind of where we're at. The bigger surprise I'm having is how poorly Texas A&M and Oklahoma's playing. Oklahoma had two pretty scary injuries this past weekend that I don't want to say sucked the wind out of the sails, but it was definitely a scary scene when they spent like 10 minutes on this field and the guy ended up having to get stretchered off. So definitely some scary sights you got to see there. But same thing with LSU. I think LSU had one of those.
It was Devin Banks.
Oh God, really?
From Ohio State. Yeah,
not great. I didn't know he transferred.
Yeah, he's at LSU.
Oh no, yeah.
That was him getting
crazy. Yeah. But outside of that, I feel like that was a pretty good week in college football. Nothing crazy. Some couple quality games, but the teams that were supposed to win won, except Kentucky, Ole Miss, but two frauds playing each other. One fraud's got to come out, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And then outside of that, I feel like the teams that were supposed to quote unquote win won, except Oklahoma and A&M.
I mean,
you would argue that Oklahoma was supposed to beat TCU.
Or I was thinking more A&M.
A&M was supposed to beat Mississippi State.
I don't know. Mississippi State has an underrated. Will Levis is shit. Was it Will Rogers? I always get them confused. Will Levis is Kentucky. Will Rogers is Mississippi State. He's one of the best quarterbacks in that division. Mississippi State's underrated. They can
be underrated. But if you looked at that game, who was supposed to win on paper? You'd probably say Texas.
I'm just not high on Texas.
I am not either. Clearly, we have them not in our fucking poll.
I mean, I meant even last week. Like I was like, like this game is a game. Like I'm expecting A&M to win, but like barely. Like I knew Mississippi State would play them close. I didn't expect them to blow them out like they did.
Right. So that's kind of where we're at right now. But let's move on from college football to the NFL fantasy updates and NFL weekend review and all that jazz.
Of course.
But before we get there, let's get to our first sponsor, our good friends at Pete Abilities, Food Truck, Food Incorporated, whatever you want to call them, Pete Abilities. Make sure you check them out at their website to figure out where the food trucks are located for the day. They're all around Columbus. They'll come to your office. They've got catering. They've got those options. Also, if you're looking for more for that brick and mortar field, check them out at their local Crooked Can in Old Hilliard, Ohio. They've got a sit-down feel, a little restaurant style where you can come up and get your food and get it going. I personally am very in favor of the classic gyro. Bella sauce coated in it, a little bit of banana peppers, add that little bit of kick to it, and load me up with some feta fries as well. That's personally my favorite meal right now. John, what is your favorite meal?
Look, some pitas make me gassy.
Yeah.
Pete Abilities is not.
I
get that buffalo chicken. Mm-hmm. I get a little bit of ranch, a little bit of blue cheese.
Oh yeah. Get yourself a little bit of everything when you go there.
I do, and it's good stuff. They got that brick and mortar store out in Old Hilliard. Mm-hmm. It's just good stuff. You can find they got a little food trucks. You can find them on their website wherever they're parked out.
And then good also, stuff. I mean, they also got the sweet tooth, the Senna chips to die for. So make sure you check out our friends at PeteAbilities.com. Figure out where they're at for the day. Go get yourself some, or have them come cater an office event too as well. I mean,
you could,
get some food for the whole office. Who doesn't love that? You'd be the guy you'd be the talk of the week at least for your office.
And then everyone owes you favors.
Can we
get the ability to sponsor next Coasties?
Easy now.
Yeah.
Easy now. I'll make some phone calls. Don't spoil it, bub. But make sure you check out our friends at Pete Abilities. We love them. They love us. So let them know that we sent you and check them out. But, John, moving on to NFL week number 5 is officially over. Colts stink.
The Colts stink.
Big letdown. But before I continue, I know I said this off pod, and I'll make it a brief little tidbit. The Colts stink right now. But in the past 3 years, we've had 3 different quarterbacks. Not to necessarily the fault of our own, but kind of to the fault of our own.
Yep.
You got Phillip Rivers. You knew he wasn't going to play forever. He was definitely a retiree guy coming. Then you traded away Carson Wentz, and now you have Matt Ryan, who's very serviceable. Both of them, all 3 of them, very serviceable quarterbacks. But you're on 4 different coordinators in 2 years. 2 of our coordinators last year both got head coaching jobs. This year, now we have a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator. Our best defensive guy hasn't played all season. He played a couple downs, couple series this past weekend, then got a concussion, was out for the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I just truly believe that these are the growing pains of having 3 quarterbacks in 3 years, 4 new coordinators, and 2 new coordinators this year, and we had some new coordinators last year. This is just what the growing pains of having that team is. So we do stink right now, but I do expect us to make a rise and a comeback here in the following weeks. That's all I have to say about that. Tom Brady's getting divorced.
He did.
It's definitely happening, apparently. They both got divorce lawyers, so look for Zach Wilson to absolutely cuff up Giselle.
He
Was
probably
that
will.
quote? Was that quote real?
No, no shot.
Okay.
Yeah,
No
that
shot.
sounds-
I'm sure it's from a
I saw
fake
so
one.
many idiots on my timeline, like people that I follow and shit.
Mm.
They were like, "Oh my god, this is so funny!" Like it was real.
Yeah.
I was like, "No."
I like me personally, I just feel really bad for the kids. I mean, it's a bad situation.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna have to live into 14 broken homes now.
Right.
Yeah, 14 homes.
Yeah, something like
It's all
that.
it's in a broken home.
Yeah, and it's broken home, and who's going to kiss him on the lips anymore?
Not me.
Not me. But looking last week, I think that this Thursday night football matchup, which we'll be doing a pick'ems and a little preview, might be an absolute snooze fest of a Thursday night football game. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But Bengals handled the Dolphins without Tua, pretty much, because Tua died.
Tua to die.
Tua died. But Vikings, Saints, kind of a snooze fest.
That was a
Kirk-
good game. That was a
Kirk-
good game.
I'm saying snooze fest in the sense that both of them are very average teams, and the Vikings could make some noise, but we know Kirk Cousins in primetime is not a chief. But this is the first time Kirk Cousins ever been 3-1.
It's kind of prime time.
It's fake primetime. Browns found a way to lose.
We don't have to talk about that.
We don't have to talk about that. Browns are going to be one of those teams that should be good, and
Look, we're punting. We're punting till next year.
we're punting.
Look, we're still first in the division.
You're still first in the division. Cowboys are apparently better without Dak Prescott.
Look, Cooper Rush is a legend.
Cooper Rush is a legend. Seahawks and Lions had a fucking barn burner of a shootout right there.
Also,
And Lions are leading the NFL in fucking points per game and are 1-3.
they're also 32nd in total defense. So they got number 1 offense, number 32 defense.
And worst defense. So,
Yeah. Also, scoreagami. First time that sport's ever happened.
oh, hey, that's even better. 48-45 for the people that are listening and don't know.
A little scoreagami.
Bears, Giants, clash of the absolute titans right there. Bears are bad.
Look, I said this last week. This is a game only your mother can love. So,
Uh,
to all those Bears, really just Giants fans out there since they won.
Bears, Justin Fields, I have a message for you. Just hold out, dude. You'll be okay. Just get through this season and hopefully things start turning around for you. But Jags are surprising a lot of people with how well they're playing. Not necessarily best record, 2-2, but they're definitely going to be a competitive team this year.
Especially in the South. I mean, that's a terrible division.
Right.
They can win it.
They for sure could win it. Eagles look to be the best team in the NFL, arguably.
I wouldn't say best, but they're the best in the NFC.
Yeah.
Best in the NFC. I'll give them that.
Jets are fun,
Jets are fun. Steelers.
especially with Zach back.
Kenny Pickett season for.
Kenny Pickett's season appears to be in full swing.
Yeah.
Didn't look great, but didn't look bad. One or two of those interceptions weren't. I don't blame
Yeah.
those on him. His wide receiver should have made those catches, but that's okay. Bills are the Bills still, and the Ravens should be a lot better than what they are, but they're not.
Yep. I mean, just classic Harballs losing big games.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson having zero help, it appears.
Yeah. Also.
Outside of Mark Andrews.
Yeah. Also, I mean, to all the Ravens.
J.K. Dobbins is doing okay, but he's not a chief.
Yeah. Also, I know there was a huge, like in retrospective, everybody was coming on John Harbaugh for going for it on 4th and 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I love it, personally. I'm a huge
Look,
fan of that.
Look, Ravens fans also like to that's always their talking point when they talk about how much they love John Harbaugh.
Mhm.
Look, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
That's just what he does.
I personally am a fan of if we have a chance to win it, let's win it now.
Sure.
Obviously, it can come back to bite you in the ass.
And
But
it
to
did.
me, you live and die with those, and I love those personally. I prefer those because I like the coach that wants to know. I think the coach is the gauge of the room of whether he thinks his team can handle overtime or can't handle another punch from the Bills, because we know this Bills offense can score on a fucking dime.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Chiefs. Same thing with, that's pretty much the only two teams I can really think of off the top of my head that can score at an instant. But Chargers finding a way to come back better in their conference, and their division's definitely, I wouldn't say wide open, but they're the second best team in their division. I thought this division was going to be the best in football. It's clearly not working out to me that way.
Second place is wide open. And again, the Texans kind of came back late in this game. Chargers were up big. They just kind of went away.
Wasted away.
But we'll see how good the Chargers are. A lot of injuries on that team.
Panthers are bad. Arguably might be the worst team in the NFL. They could end up being there, honestly.
Yeah, Battle of the Oklahoma Heisman's in this game. That was pretty much the only storyline because this game was pretty boring. And
awful.
I had this game on the second TV for a reason. This was not fun to watch.
Let me ask you this question. How long do you give it till Matt Corral starts? He's got to be coming soon, right? Or do you throw Sam Darnold in? Because Baker Mayfield is the worst quarterback in the NFL right now. I believe he's 32 out of 32, or 34 out of 34 out of qualifying.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I think the reason I don't know is because I feel like the Panthers are gonna fire Matt Rule before a quarterback change is even made.
Oh, really?
I think the Panthers are already done with Matt Rule. This was a game. I'll have to see who they play later, but if they lose to another good team or a bad team, it just
Zappy is officially in full force for at least a couple more weeks, right? A week or two.
Look, Zappy's the guy.
Hilltopper
till I die. This was a good game. I mean, I had this on the main TV for
went to overtime.
Went to overtime. Honestly, Bill Belichick kind of got in the way in this game. I mean, it felt like he didn't really trust Billy Zappi. Billy Zappi did what he was asked to do, but
put his team in a chance to win the game, and
it just felt like at the end, the play calling just kind of got in the way for the Patriots in this game.
But hey, Aaron Rodgers finds a way to win, and he's doing that. He's ever since the poor opener again. He's undefeated, 3-0 from that point on. But Raiders Broncos. Raiders finally get their first win. I did not have this in my bingo card as Raiders going 1-3 in the first 4 weeks, but here we are. Broncos country does indeed need to start riding here soon, right?
Yeah, Broncos, just kind of a boring team right now. Javonte Williams, sad to see him. I believe he's out
ACL?
for the year. Yeah, he's out for the year. Sad to see it. Good win for the Raiders, though. They needed that one.
Definitely. Chiefs, Bucks. Chiefs were beating the shit out of the Bucks. I don't know how the Bucks kind of came back into this game, honestly. I don't think this game was as close as the score says. I know 10 points isn't like... It's odd because like the NFL no score is safe, but also like there's sometimes where a score is kind of safe. I feel like the Chiefs were up big, and then they kind of just, I don't want to say they let them back in because they really didn't, but it's like the game only being 10 points looks a lot closer than what that game actually was.
Yeah, the Buccaneers lost this game the second they fumbled that opening kickoff, and then Travis Kelce's got that touchdown pass. Also, shout out Travis Kelce.
He's on your fantasy team.
On my fantasy team, won me from this game. So
yeah, and then Rams 49ers, talk about a snooze fest, in my opinion, of the game. I needed George Kittle to do literally anything other than 4.4 points for fantasy because he's on my team and not basically be a left tackle. He was a left tackle the entire game. And I lost this past week in fantasy. So let's just segue straight to it. I lost this past week. The person I was going against had the Rams tight end who didn't receive a touchdown pass, but still got 10 receptions for like 73 yards and got 17 points. And then the 49ers defense decided to be God mode and give him 22 points. So I lost. I was projected to win, especially going into Monday Night Football because I had a kicker and a tight end. All he had was a tight end and a defense. My tight end played left tackle all game, and I think the 49ers are purposely not using Iowa legend George Kittle. So that's basically how my fantasy week went. I should have won. I didn't win. Here we are. John.
I won by 1.2. I won by 1.8 points.
Yeah, but you should have won by like 50.
Look,
in theory.
I started Tua this week. Bad decision.
Hand up. Especially because, hey.
Hand up.
Bad raise decision. Your hand if you made a bad decision this past week for fantasy.
Look,
I made one too.
You just have to put your hand up.
I made one too.
So Tua got me 2.4 points. I have Amari St. Brown because I'm a drafting genius. And he was out this week.
Right.
And then
you had both of them starting.
Yeah, and so then I put him on my bench. I have what's his name? I got that really good Jags receiver. What's his name?
Robinson?
Zach Jones.
Oh, Jones.
Or Zay Jones, my bad. And I started him because he was projected points. So I was just like, okay. And then he didn't end up playing either. So I had a guy with 2.4 points and a guy with 0 points. Pulled it out by 2. Would have been devastating if I would have lost that. But hey, Ryan.
Especially by 2.
What's up?
What's up?
Raise your hand right now. Raise your hand if you're in the playoffs.
I don't think I am.
We're not. We're the 3 and 4 seed right here.
We're the 3 and 4 seed. Look, I'm scheduled for a big comeback. That's all that matters. Ryan, did you win this past week?
I did. Won by around 20.
Yeah, so you won big time. Josh Allen still seems to be good for you, correct?
Yeah, he didn't have the best game, but he had 23 points. Leonard Fournette somehow had -3 rushing yards, but still got me 18 points.
Because he scored a touchdown.
Scored a touchdown.
And he had 57 receiving yards. That helps.
Yeah.
Goddard for the Eagles.
Eagles, 12.2. Pretty good. Buccaneers defense, -1. Fuck them.
Play the Chiefs, Bob. It's going to happen.
Yeah, true. And Ezekiel Elliott will not be playing with my team for the foreseeable future.
For foreseeable future.
Big decision by the coach.
Question.
By Harbaugh, what's your team name? Harbaugh Tears?
Team Harbaugh's Tears.
Yeah, big decision by that team.
Did you have more points this week than John?
I had 117.
Did you have the most points of the week?
I had the most points the week before.
It was.
So you won. So you broke the. So you
I
broke
was supposed to lose. Yeah.
You broke the curse.
No, I thought you had the most points last week.
No, I lost last week.
Did?
Let me check.
127. Oh yeah, it was you, Ryan.
Yeah, I lost last week.
I was gonna say Cameron had the most points this week, so.
Hopefully he's scheduled to lose because I think I play Payne this week.
I play Shane Lee. I'm projected to beat him by like 20 points right now. That's tough. Tough from our guy Shane.
Yeah.
Wait, who's slapping Tippin?
Cameron.
That's Cameron.
I'm 50-50. Actually,
Yeah, it's
51.
Yeah.
51-49. I'm 51.
I'm 48, 52
Yeah.
to Payne.
You're projected to beat him by 6 points, Ryan.
6 points or 0.6?
6 points.
6 points. Okay.
I might. The thing is though, if T Higgins is out, then it might be a little different.
Of course.
I would also like to make an announcement. There's been a huge free agency pickup by the Love Bosas.
Yes.
That would be my team. I got Geno Smith, so y'all are fucked.
Geno Smith's absolutely gonna ride.
He had 31 points last week.
He's gonna ride his way. Well, that's because it was a fucking shootout.
He had 18 the week before.
That's not good. I feel like your quarterback should get you at least 20 points in this league.
Look.
Yeah, Brian's like, my quarterback didn't do that best. All quarterbacks are predicted to be like 22 to 21 points. His quarterback did above average.
Okay.
It's because his quarterback didn't get 40 points like he does the past fucking 4 weeks, like Lamar Jackson has done for my
I
dad.
also have
Yeah,
Josh.
but if you look at my team is based on my wide receivers, my tight end, and my running backs. I'm winning with my QB scoring 2.4
Hey,
points.
shut
If I'm
up.
getting 18 points,
You're winning.
I'm winning the league. I'm projected number 1 right now.
That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna talk about prime time big decision pickups for fantasy. All right,
John went picking up Geno Smith. That's number 1.
and
It was me drafting Spencer Strider on my fantasy base.
We're talking pickups.
Oh,
Pickups.
pickups? Oh,
and it was
pickups.
me picking up Graham Gano over the New York Jets kicker, getting me a big whopping 9 points.
Hey, huge. If we're talking about pickups too, it's me getting Rasamuto for the Tampa Bay Rays and him just absolutely being a hog of a person for me, points-wise in baseball. But, hey, this is football, and I have yet to pick anybody up. So that's kind of our fantasy update for you guys.
Tua is on my IR, by the way.
Tua is on quarterback? Derek Carr.
Yikes.
Mine's Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he's balling for you.
And,
He's done okay.
but
He got
Geno
30
isn't?
points, or 25 points.
But Geno isn't balling.
I think he had like 25 points this
He had
past week.
21 last week.
Derek Carr's been okay.
Josh Allen had 23. Daniel Jones had 21.
Y'all are sleeping on Geno Smith. I don't like this.
No, I'm not sleeping on him. I just don't have any reason to have him. I don't need 3 quarterbacks.
That's why you're 2-2. We're in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, that's it, because I don't have 3 quarterbacks. I don't even know if our league allows 3 quarterbacks.
I have 3 quarterbacks. Well, one's on IR. So
I don't know if that factors that in or not, but regardless.
I'll look at the rules. I think you can.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
But before we move on to baseball, let's shout out our last sponsor, National Golf Course. As the weather is changing, wind's picking up, getting a little more nipply out. Rain's coming. Snow's coming soon behind that. But the cold weather and the sunrise coming sooner as well. You can still come out to National Road Golf Course, John. Why is that?
Because they got those goddamn simulators.
They got the goddamn simulators. And, John, those simulators allow you to play almost any course in the world that you could think of. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, the Masters, whatever you can think
Actually,
of.
you can't play the Masters.
You can't play the Masters. Well, you can't play the Masters.
But you know what you can do? They got TVs there. You can watch the
You
Masters.
can watch the Masters as well. Highlights of the Masters. But come on out.
I don't want false advertise.
You don't want to false advertise. I respect that, Ryan. You are a man of integrity, and I respect that.
Can you play the Ryder Cup?
Can you play in the Ryder Cup, sir?
The Ryder Cup is not place, but you can format it like Ryder Cup, yes.
Let's fucking
Okay,
go.
then I'm there for it. I'm there for that. So check out National Road Golf Course. You've got the simulators. Soak up the golf while you can. It was gorgeous today. I played 9 holes. Got my ass kicked.
Yeah.
But come out there. You can play 9 holes. Make sure you have the carts back before 7:15 because the sun is setting and it's going to basically be to the point where we can't see our ball go any further. Outside of that, we have a driving range. They've got a driving range. Make sure you see it. Make sure you have it. And come out to National Road Golf Course. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you there. So thank you so much for having them. Let them know that we sent you and we love them. So moving on.
Moving on.
Baseball.
Bayball.
Before I get into the playoffs, and Ryan, if you'd be so kind of pull up the playoff bracket while I get the spiel going.
Can we do it right now? Or?
Yeah, you can pull it up right now. I believe the second annual Coasties award show is going to be happening for the baseball season this year.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it. And if you are tapped in, which most of you are, and we like to be, the Coasties second annual award show is happening, I believe, next week.
Next week.
Next week, we are doing the Coast to Coast Baseball Awards. Come ready, bring the popcorn. We'll be in suit and ties. We'll be looking professional. We'll be giving out awards. MVPs, Cy Youngs. Batting titles? Yeah, batting champions.
Gold Gloves.
Gold Gloves.
NL Rookie of the Year, AL Rookie of the Year.
NL Rookie of the Year, AL Rookie of the Year. All the Rookies of the Year.
Also all ALNL.
All ALNL awards. Be looking out for those guys. Those are coming next week.
Next
Fucking
week.
strap in, bub.
Strap in, tap in.
And then the postseason starting, so we wanted to get it off. These are not postseason awards.
Yes.
These are not postseason awards. But, nevertheless, the Coasties will be coming back next week. Make sure you look for it, guys. We're really excited for it. And I personally love the Coasties. I thought we killed it last time.
We did.
Kill it one more time.
Why not?
Let's
Why
kill
not?
it. And then wait for the NFL.
Oh, wait for the NFL.
Wait for the NFL awards.
Wait for the NFL
Wait
/
for
college Coasties.
NFL/college coaches. The college coaches would only be
Yeah,
Heisman,
we're not.
right?
You could do other things, but we're not doing college. We're not doing the
We'll do our
We can do college. We can do like Game of the Year, our MVP, Heisman, whatever.
Okay.
We'll wrap it up. We'll include it with the NFL, as a little, because they end roughly around the same time, right?
NFL's like a month and a half after.
Regular season?
Or regular season.
Because that's when we do the awards.
Regular season ends if you include conference championship week, that's first week of December.
We'll include that.
January or February is the end of the NFL. So it's a couple months after.
We'll include just a little bit. We'll include 2 or 3 awards. But outside of that, we're not doing college because
I was gonna
there's too many things.
We don't even have to do college.
But we'll give our picks. We'll actually just make that a segment. We won't make it a Coastie. We'll just make it a segment. But just know that it's coming. And Ryan is the playoff picture up.
If you want to snap your fingers.
3, 2, 1. Boom. Look what I fucking did. I'm absolutely
Couldn't be me.
goddamn hocus
Couldn't be
pocus
me.
over here. Guys, the playoff picture is officially set. This is the lineup. This is what it's going to be. Let's give it up to postseason baseball. Postseason baseball. Ryan Clapp, damn it. Your team is a 2 seed. John's team is a 3 seed somehow, and my team is a 1 seed.
What do you mean somehow?
Undeserving ones.
It's just actually, no, you guys have a pretty good amount of wins, right?
I believe we have more
More
wins
wins
than
than-
all of the wild cards. Plus,
That's what I was saying. Okay, yeah. So
plus
then
all
never
the
mind.
division winners get the 3. Plus, we're a division winner.
No, I'm just saying it's one of those ones where it's like last year the division winner was the White Sox.
I mean,
Right,
we're tied with the Blue Jays. Plus, we're a division winner.
Yeah, so I'd say then that's deserving. That's deserving.
Get
Never
out of
mind,
here.
Never mind.
Emerson.
Never mind.
Back off.
It's not like the Like if the
It's not the St. Louis Cardinals.
it's not like the St. Louis Cardinals, where what's their wins look like?
I don't know, but
If you'd be so kind to check that out.
The Mets have 100 wins.
The Mets did eclipse
101 wins to the Cardinals 93.
Yeah, but who else in there?
Ooh, they tied with the Mets. It was just they had the tiebreaker over the Mets. That's rough.
That's fried. How? That's too funny. Yeah, so I mean, it's not like the Brewers had 86 wins. They were only 10 games above 500. You know, if they won their division, then it's like they don't really kind of belong there. You know what I mean? It's like they're the 3 seed, but like they have a worse record than both the wild card spots. So I take my statement back.
Thank you.
Right now you're seeing Cleveland plays Tampa Friday, game 1, 12:07 in Cleveland.
In Cleveland.
Then you see the Blue Jays playing Seattle in Toronto. And then both of the winners of those series, 5-game series, correct?
You're saying
you're
saying the wild card, right?
Yes.
Yeah, wild card is best of 3, all at the home location as well. So we're not.
It's just 3 straight games in Cleveland.
In Cleveland.
Oh, that's kind of wild. I didn't know that.
Yep.
So best of 3, all in one location. Then one of those teams, Cleveland and Tampa, are waiting to play the Yankees.
Yep.
See who dukes that out. And then Mariners versus Blue Jays are going to duke it out to see who plays the Astros. And then flipping to the NL side, you have the Cardinals playing the Phillies, who barely snuck in there. They were down to game 159, I believe, actually. They beat the Astros and clinched the spot.
Yep.
So they were close. Then you have the Mets playing the Padres, all in New York as well, in the wild card spot. Mets playing the Padres to duke out to play who plays the Dodgers. And then the Phillies and the Cardinals duke it out to see who plays arguably the hottest team in baseball, the Braves.
Yep.
This should be a really fun postseason, personally.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it, John.
Yeah, I mean, sure, the 2-1 seeds in the AL and NL kind of look like the teams that are going to meet up. Mm-hmm. But if you exclude those 2 teams, there's a lot of parity I can see. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that Mets-Padres series. I think that could be good.
I think the Padres could do it.
Yeah, I think the Padres. Honestly, if I were a gambling man, I would pick the Padres to beat the Mets.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mets still a 100-win team.
Are you not a gambling man?
It's not not illegal yet.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
On January 1st, I will be.
We'll chill.
I can really see the Toronto-Seattle series being really fun to watch. I think Cleveland. I give Cleveland the edge over Tampa, but we'll see. And then, I mean, whoever wins St. Louis, Philly is going to get slaughtered by the Braves. But
I think so too.
The series will be fun to watch. I think they're 2 equally good teams.
Yeah, so I have a few hot takes. One, I think that the Cleveland team, the Guardians, handle the Rays pretty good. I think that you have a Bieber-McKenzie 1-2 punch is going to be really hard to go against.
Yeah.
But also, even if it does go to Game 3, you have Cal Quantrill,
yeah,
who has yet to lose a game at Progressive Field in
correct.
It's
been a while.
It's been a long. I think it's till 2019.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't lost in a long time at Progressive Field. So that helps that all 3 games are definitely being played there. Mm-hmm. I think Cleveland doesn't. I honestly truly believe Cleveland gives the Yankees a run for their money.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those ones where it's going to go one of 2 ways. I could see the Yankees sweeping Cleveland because they have such young talent and have no experience. But I could also see Cleveland being one of those guys who we have no experience, but fuck it, we ball.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland's one of the hottest teams in baseball right now.
Mm-hmm.
Their biggest detriment is just how young they are. Mm-hmm. It isn't anything about the talent, but they've fought that all year. So we'll see.
The thing that I think that is an underlying benefactor of the Cleveland team is they are 29th in home runs, mm-hmm. which means they know how to play small ball and they know how to play really well, and they've won a bunch of games doing it. So
yep.
I think you win a lot of games in postseason baseball with the long ball because you're only going to get 1 or 2 runs across the plate anyway in a lot of playoff games,
yep.
unless it's just an absolute pitching disaster or offensive explosion. Which those happen. I mean, look at the Astros, a la Astros-Dodgers World Series 2017. There were several of those games where it was 12-13 in the 13th inning, 11th inning. But if you can force pitchers to pitch long outings, get through maybe 5 innings, 4 innings, then you're making the bullpen tax, and that wears down a team. So I could see Cleveland absolutely upsetting the Yankees here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Mariners will come out on top. Actually, let me say, I want the Mariners to come out on top against the Blue Jays because the Astros have played the Mariners very well this year. Retrospectively, the Blue Jays we have not. I think we're like 2-4, but it's not really a huge sample size.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'd rather play the Mariners because I think we can stifle their offense a little bit better. And it's also a team you know better is a team you want to face, in my opinion, too.
Okay.
But flip side of that, I think the Phillies are going to be a dark horse here. I know that you said they're going to get slaughtered against the Braves if they do win, but Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, and a Noah Syndergaard is a pretty solid 1-2-3 punch. Noah kind of flutters there a little bit, but Aaron Nola threw a perfect game against the Astros up until the 6th inning or 7th inning yesterday or 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's he's clearly got it. He's got the stones for it. And I think their offense is definitely poised for it as well. Kyle Schwarber is getting hot and he's staying there. Bryce Harper's been there, done that. And you have some good pitching horses to lead you out the gate there as well. But the Braves, I think since June 1st are 70 and 33, which is the best record in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a fun little series at the top there. But I think the Braves probably, like you mentioned before, are going to come out on top too. But
I just think the Braves are just the better team.
Mm-hmm. I do too. I agree as well. But as the Moneyball, not only movie, but the book, I've read it. You only need to get lucky 4 games in these series. And lucky gets you a lot more runs than skill based on a metric. So if you just have a little bit of luck go your way, steal 1 or 2 games, and then let your skill deal with the rest, it can happen. I personally think the Padres upset the Mets here.
I do too.
I don't know how well Max Scherzer and DeGrom are going to pitch. Obviously, they're very good. But Yu Darvish on the other side, very good pitcher. Blake Snell on the other side, very good pitcher. And then Sean Manaea, also a good pitcher. And the Padres have a lot of offensive explosion potential that I think the Mets just don't have as necessarily.
Yeah, I just think the Mets just are. They're the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
They don't win. They collapsed in the AL East race. They should have won that division.
The Braves led the entire division for 8 days.
Yeah, that just tells you the story right there.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets, they're a feeble team in my eyes.
The Mets don't know how to win, and that to me is an issue. And I think that's why the Astros are going to be a good team this postseason. We have a ton of experience. We know how to win. We've been there. We've done that. And it's one of those ones where I feel like the flip side of the Mets is that they've won a bunch of games, but they don't know how to win when it matters most. And I think that can be the downfall for them this year.
Yeah, even if they do get past the Padres, there's no way they're getting past the Dodgers. So
I thought that about the Braves last year, but hey, they did it. And I know the Dodgers were a little banged up, and the Dodgers still are. Craig Kimbrell's injured, yeah. Dustin May's injured, but
at least the Braves were hot coming in towards the end of the year.
Yeah,
Mets are as cold as you can be with that series against Atlanta.
Yeah, and the Dodgers are so good.
Yeah,
they just won like 107 games or something ridiculous like that.
This Dodgers team's better than the Dodgers team last year.
1,000%, and the year before that. So it'll be a really fun playoff. I'm looking forward. It starts Friday, I believe. I will be tuned in at work. Cleveland, Tampa. I'm rooting for Cleveland.
Of course.
Not because I want you guys to win. I want you guys to beat the Yankees as well because A, I don't like the Yankees, and B,
who does?
I'm really excited. I hope that if the Astros play Cleveland, I can go to a playoff baseball game.
Of course.
So I would love to go for a playoff baseball game. But if not, then I'm rooting for, I guess, the Blue Jays. That's closer than Seattle, obviously.
You're going up to Toronto?
That's only like 5 hours.
It's 5 or 6, yeah.
I could do that much more than I could do New York. New York's probably just as far as Buffalo.
I would say Toronto's a little closer than New York.
I'm saying like New York
barely that.
Is like near Buffalo, right?
No, New York's like
Buffalo is in New York.
I know, but I'm saying like is the Yankees,
New York City. New York City is like
other side, right?
Yeah,
like Buffalo City, New York. Okay, yeah. So never mind. Then.
Yeah, they're on complete other sides of the state.
Yeah, so go Cleveland. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Rooting for the Guardians, hoping that they'll pull it out. I know it's not the Guardians flag because we don't have one, but it's the old Indians flag, and I'm reading my book still about Larry Doby and the boys of Satchel Paige. Great book so far. Go them, but any particular person you're rooting for this postseason? Outside your own team. Outside of your own team.
Outside of Cleveland, not really. I'm pretty neutral when it comes to the NL. I mean, I guess I'm rooting against the Dodgers, but like, I mean, I'm just kind of conceding to them. I just think they're the best team this year, and if they win it, like, they were just the best team. I guess I'll root against the repeat of the Braves, but I mean, outside of that, I'm pretty neutral. I guess the Cardinals are the number one team I don't want to win, but that's just me.
See, I'm rooting for the Cardinals for Adam, Yachty, and Pujols, but I'm also pulling for the Phils because I really like Bryce Harper, and I think he deserves a right.
Yeah, I'm just also a Reds guy. I just don't like the Cardinals.
I respect that as well. I'm also rooting for the AL. I'm rooting for Terry.
Terry. Oh yeah, you got to root for Terry.
I love Terry. I think I'm surprised you didn't say Dusty, just because.
I mean, I'm indifferent to Dusty. I thought he made some bad decisions in Cincinnati.
If you have to pick out of the AL, you didn't pick anybody. You didn't pick anything out of the AL, actually.
I just don't really.
I just said if you just had to pick one thing to root for, I figured you'd pick Dusty. That's all.
I just don't. I guess I'd root if I'm picking one team in the AL to root for outside of Cleveland. It's Seattle easily.
Because of
Jesse Winker, Castillo,
Enya.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
You can hate him, but he's still a Cincinnati product.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
All right.
The Reds would have made the playoffs last year if it weren't for him. I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't like the Astros, Harrison. It is what it is.
You don't have to like the Astros. You can like Dusty Baker.
It is what it is.
I don't like
rooting for the Astros.
I don't like Cleveland, but I like Terry Francona. I also don't like Cleveland, but I love Jose Ramirez.
Fair enough, I guess. I don't. I just don't like Dusty that much to root for the Astros.
Who says you're rooting for the Astros? I'm saying you have to pick one thing to root for. You can root for Dusty. That's it. You don't have to root for the Astros.
Yeah, but rooting for... I mean, he's the manager. Rooting for Dusty is rooting for the Astros to win, basically.
Rooting for anybody on anything is rooting. You're rooting for Seattle means you're rooting for Jesse Winker and you're rooting for Luis Castillo.
Yeah, if I'm
rooting for Seattle to win, that's the same thing.
Yeah, if I'm saying individual players, it's a little different. It's just like...
How is it different than the manager? What?
The manager is the team. He's the collective.
Stop it. Stop it right now. All right, before we get to the pick'ems. Actually, no, that's next. Pick'ems is next, right?
Yankees.
Oh, yeah. What's your guy? Ryan, big Yankees guy over here.
It's your floor, Ryan.
Yeah. Who you want to root for outside of the Yankees? Don't bring up the thing that you're probably going to bring up because I think that's in the 2-minute drill.
Oh, we should have had baseball games in the pick'em. We'll do it next week.
No, you can't do pick'ems.
I'd probably root for
Game 1.
Fair enough.
I'd probably root for St. Louis.
For the same reasons I said. What about the AL?
Molina.
What about the AL?
AL.
Cleveland rocks.
Cleveland.
Rocks.
Even over they play your boys.
Cleveland rocks.
Just Cleveland in general, or you want a pro player specific
Well,
person?
I mean, if they play the boy, like play my boys, then yeah, I'm going to root for the Yankees. But if they beat the Yankees, then
Room for them to go all the way.
then yeah,
I respect
Cleveland
that.
win.
I respect.
So where's Aaron Judge going next year?
The Yankees.
He's either going to the Yankees or the fucking Dodgers. Those are the only two teams that can afford him. Yeah. So let's get to the pick'ems.
All right. Very even week. We all went 6-4 last week. It broke my. I went 7-3 every week so far, except for last week. 6-4. Rough for your boy. But it is what it is. You know. So.
Hey, we're here. We're here. I'm 30-20. 10 games above 500. John's 33-17. A few games above game.
13 above
500. And then Ryan's 500. Ryan, you made it back to 500. Or was he 500 last week?
No, he was
below 500.
He was below. Yeah, so you're back to 500, Ryan. How's it
Getting
feel?
up there. I'm coming back.
All right. John, read us our pick'ems of the week.
All right, we're gonna start out with college football. We have, never mind. We got 2 undefeated teams.
Okay.
College game day is gonna be there.
Let's go.
We got the Horned Frogs of Texas Christian University taking on the Jayhawks of Kansas up in Lawrence, Kansas. Ryan, who do you got?
TCU.
I'm also going Horned Frogs. They had a big statement win against Oklahoma. I think they're going to repeat.
It pains me because I want to pick Kansas so bad.
I did too.
They're my team. I love Kansas, but this is a business.
Mm-hmm.
I got to keep my lead. I have to pick TCU.
I respect
They're
that.
the better team. Next game, we got another noon game. We have the Volunteers of Tennessee traveling down to Death Valley, Baton Rouge to take on the LSU Tigers. Go Tigers. Ryan, who you got?
Tennessee.
I'm also going Rocky Top here. I think that if LSU's close for a little bit, but I think Tennessee really pulls away late third, early fourth.
I agree. I'm also going with the Vols here. I just think they're the better team than LSU. Just simple
For those reasons.
Yeah. All right. Next game, we got the Red River Shootouts taking place at the Texas State Fair down the Cotton Bowl, Dallas Stadium, whatever you want to call it. Ryan, who do you got?
Yes.
Give me Boomer Sooner here. I think that they're going to have a comeback game against they got blown out by TCU. I think they're going to have a bounce-back game this week. Give me Boomer.
I believe Quinn Ewers will play this week. Not for sure, but it seems likely that he will. Horns up.
This is very much like my Bengals-Dolphins pick last week where Tua was questionable. And I said if Tua's going to play, I think I might have picked the Dolphins, but then Tua died
Who was
in
the
the first quarter.
quarterback?
Sam Ellinger.
Yeah, him. Whatever happened.
He's on the Colts, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Solid quarterback.
Better than Trevor Lawrence. Some say.
Some say. I wouldn't, but some say.
I just wondered if he made it the NFL.
He's been on the Colts for the past 2 years.
Yeah, he's like a second or third string.
He's a good quarterback, dude. He balled in preseason for us.
He's a preseason god, dude.
Yeah.
All right, next game, we got the Utah Utes traveling down to the undefeated UCLA Bruins down in the Rose Bowl. Ryan, who do you got?
Over?
Utah.
What? Over?
Yeah, over south.
Down. Over south.
Over and south.
Over and south. All right. I prefer over. I'm on the traveling over guy.
Okay.
I'm going UCLA here. I think they're 5-0 for a reason, and they had a big statement win against Washington, and their quarterback is gross. So I'm rooting for them. UCLA.
Look, I got a parlay Utah winning the Pac-12, so I got it right with my Utes.
I thought you weren't a gambling man.
I was in West Virginia.
It's
legal there. It's legal there.
I respect.
So I got to go with my Utes. Got to write big game next week. I'm afraid of the look ahead.
Yeah.
Got the Trojans next week, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last college game, we got the BYU Fighting Cougs going over to Las Vegas to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in a neutral site game. Shamrock Series. Ryan, who do you got?
Notre Dame.
Why is it called the Shamrock Series?
It's just like their jersey thing that they do.
Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything.
Yeah.
Notre Dame doesn't play very well in the big games. I feel like a neutral site, Las Vegas, top 25 team that they're going to go be playing against. They're not ranked. I will say this is Notre Dame's chance to get back in the top 25 probably. Close to it, if not. Especially if they have a big statement win, but I think the Cougars are going to pull it out.
I'm going with the Fighting Irish. I think they're better than people think. Big win against North Carolina 2 weeks ago, had a bye last week. And I think, look, they're favored in this game. I think Vegas just knows something we don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those situations. I'm going with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Next game we got tomorrow night. We got your Indianapolis Colts taking on the Denver Broncos in Thursday Night Football. Ryan, who do you got?
Broncos.
Absolute barn burner here. Colts have not played well of recent. We're due so I'm taking the Colts.
I'm riding with the Broncos.
Let's ride.
We got 9:30 a.m. game. We got the Giants versus Packers. Not London, Ohio, but London. London.
I think this could be played at the high school, actually, right? Or this be Jonathan Alder High School.
Yeah, I believe this will be at St.
Fuck
Pat's.
it, just set up a stadium in National Road.
St. Pat's.
At St. Pat's. Ryan, who you got? New York football Giants taking on the Packers.
The Packers.
See, I was in a coin flip between this one because I feel like anytime the team that goes over and plays in London, the worst team wins, or it's much closer. I think you kind of saw that a little bit with the Vikings and the Saints, but the Vikings ended up pulling it out off of the double doink. I'm going to take the Packers still, but it's going to be a bad game.
Fun fact, this is the only game over in London or Mexico that's featured two teams above 500. Both teams are 3-1.
Ooh, that's nice.
I'm also going with the Green Bay Packers. I'm putting my eggs in Aaron Rodgers' basket.
Yeah. And you're gonna start him in fantasy this week, probably, right?
Yeah, I might start Gino next week, but
Yeah.
look, people sleep on Gino.
But
They don't want to know.
I'm asleep on him.
Next game, we got the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, going.
Boys.
Them boys going over to LA to take on the LA Rams. Ryan, who do you got?
I'm actually gonna go to the Cowboys. I'm just gonna pick something different.
Are you going to Cowboys because Zeke's on the bench?
I'm going to the Cowboys because they're 3-1 and the Rams are 2-2, so they have a better record.
Yeah, I heard the Harbaugh Tears were benching Zeke this week.
I heard they were benching Zeke this week.
If Zeke doesn't play it down, that has nothing to do with my decision.
All right, I'm picking the Rams. They looked awful against the 49ers. Definitely due for a recalibration.
I agree. I'm just sniffing bounce back here. I'm going with the Rams. Next game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals.
And the Cowboys have looked too good for some reason.
Cooper Rush, not that bad.
Not bad, but it's like they're the Cowboys. They'll find a way to cowboy, and they're due for it. That's all I'm saying.
That is true. Next game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Baltimore. Take on the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. Ryan, who do you got?
Chiefs.
The fuck?
Oh, wait, no. I thought we were on that one. Ravens.
That's great you're picking the Chiefs, but that's not a matchup here.
Ravens.
I am also taking the Ravens. I think the Bengals are a good team, but at Baltimore is always a hard place to play. Sunday Night Football. Lamar Jackson is, in fact, that dude.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens too. They had a couple bad losses, or not even bad losses, just some heartbreaking losses kind of in their mouth here. I think they might take it out on the Bengals this week. Next game that Ryan alluded to, Monday Night Football. We got the Raiders taking on the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Ryan, who do you got?
Chiefs.
I think you said Chiefs, right? I think you jumped the gun a little bit there.
Chiefs.
I don't know how else to put this other than I'm going to take a small loan out and put it on the Chiefs. So Chiefs.
I mean, the Chiefs are so good. Ryan picked them in two games this week.
Exactly.
They're actually going to be so good that they're going to beat the Ravens and the Bengals in it. So
I believe so. Their second team's going to Baltimore to play the Bengals tomorrow.
no, you got to. So the practice squad.
The practice.
Go Chiefs.
Go. Yeah.
I like the Chiefs. I like Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce's cool.
What else about the Chiefs? I love Andy Reid too.
They beat us in the playoffs.
Who's we?
Browns. 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's fair. That was the targeting year.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that was rough. I was at a house watching that watch party. That was a sad day for you guys. It's all right. You guys weren't even supposed to be there, so be happy.
No, what do you mean supposed to be there? We killed the Steelers.
I was at a house watching a party, watching the game.
Yeah, it was like partyception actually. So, that's the pick'ems. So
That's all 10.
That's all 10. So hopefully we'll let you guys know how we do. Any surefire ones in there, John?
Sorry, what?
Any surefire ones in there? Anybody wants to bet on? I've got two. I'll give mine two. I'm going to go Tennessee. That's the one that you should definitely hammer. And then I'm going to go Chiefs as well, hammer.
I believe, look, it just smells Notre Dame blowout here.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that the line for Notre Dame, just you have to take them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, -3 against a team.
What's the
that's
line for
ranked.
the Horned Frogs?
I believe they are 7-point favorites over Kansas.
I would also take that. That's a sneaky
Yeah,
one. With how good Kansas has looked, that's sneaky. But
yeah.
regardless, Ryan, we're heading to your 2-minute drill.
Indeed.
Strap in. Look good. Feel good. Be good. Ryan, whenever you're ready, I'm ready. I'm feeling my fucking notes today.
All right. I'm just going to get right into it.
Lay it in.
All
Give me
right.
some pipe.
Aaron Judge
Yes.
finally hit 62 home runs. Is he the home run king?
No. Not even close.
No, Barry Bonds, easy.
He needs to hit 11 more to be the home run king.
Tyler Hero sent a 4-year extension with the Heat for $130 million, 6 man of the year, worth the money.
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll crack the starting rotation this year and make a big step.
I have no opinion on this. Next.
Bills fans have made over 1,000 donations to his charity. Are the Bills fans the best?
I think the Bills fans are the best fans. It's like the 4th or 5th time they've done that. When they beat like a team, they donate to some random fucking charity in that team city. I think the Bills fans have to be.
In NFL, yes. Around the league, you got to give it to the Hilltoppers.
Of Western Kentucky?
Yeah. You haven't been down to Bowling Green.
Tony La Russa is retiring after the season. Are the White Sox headed for a rebuild?
I feel like anytime you fire a pretty well-known manager, it's like a retire fire. I feel like there's got to be something in the works here because the White Sox were bad this year.
Yeah, he had some health issues to miss the last few games of the year. When that happened, you just knew he was gone.
Right.
With sports betting coming to Ohio in a few months, what's the first sports we're betting on?
I'm betting on baseball, just probably because it's my best and most consistent team. Astros win the World Series. That'll be my first bet.
My first bet will be Ohio State money line because this will be January 1st. It'll be whoever they're playing in the playoffs, probably Clemson or USC.
Or bowl game?
No playoffs.
Or would the bowl game be after that?
I mean, they're making the playoffs. So.
You don't know that.
They're making the playoffs.
But you don't know that.
I just told you.
You could just Ohio State's football team could get marshaled here in like a week.
Dog. We're on a bye week next week. Who are we playing next week?
They could get marshaled on the flight back from. Or no, it's a home game. No, away game.
Sorry. I thought you were talking about Marshall against.
No, I'm
like
like
Notre Dame.
I'm talking like a plane crash killing the starters.
Dog, don't talk about that.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just bringing up a historical fact. Did that plane crash happen?
Jesus Christ.
Are you just saying it disappeared? John's saying the plane crash at Marshall disappeared. Look, I had a cousin that went to Marshall. We had a friend that went to Marshall. Fuck you. You don't respect Marshall University.
I like Marshall's.
Oh no, they
Fuck
I thought you meant the restaurant.
Cole's
they
Cash,
closed.
baby. Cole's Cash.
You were a big Marshalls guy, right? Restaurant?
Oh yeah, Marshall's was good. Yeah, that place closed. That was good.
Sad day.
Sad day.
I love Marshalls, but I'm assuming we made it because you didn't give us a no.
Correct.
Okay, cool, dope. Before we wrap up the podcast here, I just want to make one thing clear. Bitches really ain't shit but hoes and tricks. And R.I.P. Coolio.
R.I.P. Coolio. R.I.P.
Gangster's Paradise.
Gangster's Paradise. Also R.I.P. Tom Brady's marriage.
R.I.P. Tom Brady's marriage. Giselle. What's up, dude?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up? She'll know what it means.
She'll know. She knows. Come on the pod, Giselle. I got a spare room. Don't you worry about it, sweet cheeks. All right? I hear you're big into baseball. If you're looking for a football guy, you don't want a football guy anymore? I'm not the football guy. So I'm perfect for you. I won't watch a single NFL game.
I'm a football guy, but I mean, I'm superior to Tom Brady. I mean, he went to fucking Michigan.
I know, right? That guy sucks.
I mean, look at John's physical physique.
Yeah. You think this guy's eaten avocado ice cream once? No. You know why? Because it's probably fucking awful.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love avocado, but avocado ice cream's got to be awful.
John eats Peter Billy's.
Yeah.
John knows.
I'm built like
He's
that.
an alpha man.
He's built like that. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. That was kind of a dumpster fire end there. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys, this week. We really appreciate it. As always, like, subscribe, ring the bell, be a friend, tell a friend, and check us out on YouTube. YouTube, check us out on Spotify. Spotify, check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Twitter. Interact with us. And Ryan, you got anything to say to people before we let you go?
No.
John, you got anything to say to people before we let him go?
2 things. Playoff baseball.
Playoff baseball.
Sup. And Blake Bortles, happy retirement.
Happy retirement to Bortles. Only thing I got to say is hopefully a month from tomorrow. No, today's the 5th, right? A month from now, hopefully the Astros will be raising the World Series trophy. I believe it ends November 5th. I'm not 1,000%.
Well, it depends on
or
how many
if it
games
starts. Well, no, I don't think it. That's what I'm saying. I saw a tweet where it's like the World Series starts November 5th or it ends November 5th.
Okay.
The games do not matter. It's already mapped out. That's what I meant. So if it's not, hopefully we start the World Series. And if it is, hopefully we're raising the trophy. Only thing I got to say for playoffs baseball. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week. Peace.